training plan for you guys. We have an amazing guest speaker, which I'm going to introduce in a second. So let me just kind of go over what the format of the call is going to be as people are jumping on. And hi, Journey. Oh my gosh, girl, I've seen you forever. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, nice to have you on. Thank you for joining us. So we have a special guest speaker today, and then we're going to be, Rebecca and I at the other half of the call are going to be going over our Dump the Junk Challenge, which we are starting to promote this week, and it officially starts next week on the 19th. So we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But the first part of our business training today, we have a wonderful woman on. She's super knowledgeable, so I cannot wait to hear her coaching tips. Trisha is a registered holistic nurse. She has a background in environmental studies, and she actually spearheaded the World is a Garden multicultural urban farming project, which that's so amazing. I want to know everything about that. It sounds totally up my alley. And she took her skill set as an entrepreneur and as a nutritionist, and she joined Isagenix several years ago. And she is a 5-star Golden Circle Start 1000 member. And she's also trained in yoga, and she loves to speak and write and travel around the world. And I know she's also a new mommy. So welcome on the line, Trisha. It's so good to have you. Oh,
Unmute.
There you go. Hi.
I just want to say I'm a nutritionist. I'm not a nurse, but thank you, Brittany, very much.
Oh, sorry. What did I say?
Oh, I still say that all the time. So I just wanted to say I'm a nutritionist. So thank you so much for having me. And if there's any questions or anything after, I'm just going to give, I think it's 20 minutes that I have, right, girls?
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes. Okay. You can totally go, and we'll just wrap up at the end with the challenge info. So you take it away. We want to learn from you, and we're inspired to hear you speak, girl.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, so Rebecca had asked me on what I would like to train on, and I picked one of my favorite topics because I know it's really what's helped me to grow as a leader and really help me train my team with. And it's really the most important thing. It has been the most important thing for me. So as I was thinking about the call and thinking about what I wanted to bring to you today, I thought it'd be most powerful if I shared just a bit of my story and how I got to this place, and if it can inspire you, then that's really my intention of the call today. So yes, if you have any questions or need clarification after, I'm definitely would love to hear from you. So as Brittany had said, I started Isagenix, and I was at the time before Isagenix. My sister had already been involved for over 5 years and had been, oh my goodness, begging me to join the business, even to the point where she actually held my position. I did a cleanse in the very beginning, and she held my position for me. So I was really busy. I had a nonprofit organization, which is definitely my passion as a holistic nutritionist. I was teaching kids how to grow food organically, and had urban farms in the city of Vancouver. And I also was in school, had gardens in schools, and I loved that. And I also had an organic cookie business company and my nutritional consulting. So I was burnt out. And for someone who is eating and living holistically, I was tired, and I didn't feel like I had the energy to do the things that all the things that I love to do at the end of the day. And when my brother-in-law came to me and he just said, Trisha, I really want you to look at Isagenix as an opportunity to not have to fundraise and work so hard and be burnt out and tired. And I was really at the time praying for something different, for a different answer. And Isagenix really came to me at the perfect time. And it was a time where I had really built some entrepreneurial skills. I did feel confident in my ability to sell and share what I believed in. So it was just really perfect timing for me. And one of the things that when I really decided to do Isagenix, my biggest obstacle was time. It was time. Like, if I do Isagenix, like, I already don't have time. But I knew that I had to give up some more time to create time. And it's really led me to a path of having residual income and choice. And I also knew I wanted to be a mom. And I was like, how am I going to be a mom when I have so much on my plate? And I want to be home with my kids, and I want to be present, and I want to enjoy my family. And so I was an aspiring mom. And now when I work with people, I'm looking for other people who are wanting to be moms, who are burnt out. And so the biggest thing, as I said, the biggest obstacle for me was time. And what I needed to find was stability. And that for me, the biggest thing was that I took this obstacle and I turned it into a possible solution. And so when as I said, I started about 6 years ago. And when I committed to doing Isagenix, I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew there was going to be obstacles. I knew that, like, to expect them. And as I said, time was my obstacle, but then other obstacles came up. And life happens, and that's what happens. And I was at about a year into my business, and I was a 2-star, and I was engaged at the time to somebody I'm no longer with, and I was really working to get to 3-star, and so I almost hit 3-star 3 times, and one time I was 54 BV away from hitting 3-star, and an order didn't go through before 9 o'clock on a Sunday. And right around the time that I was hitting 3-star, my relationship ended, and I was, a couple months away from the wedding. Everything was planned. My whole life, as expected, the whole next year changed. And I remember that time of, like, that total broken heart and, like, how am I going to do this? And I remember my sister and my brother-in-law, who are my leaders in the business, saying to me, you're still going to do this. We're still going to do this. And this is going to happen. And I remember deciding right there and then that this was just another obstacle, that this was just something to overcome, and that I wasn't going to let a situation or another person steal my dreams. And within with 1 month of splitting up, I became a 3-star. And 6 weeks after that, I jumped to 4-star. And so my point in saying this is that life is going to happen. You can expect the obstacles, but when we let our obstacles get in the way, that's when we're going to fail. But if we know that when we know in our hearts that we deserve our dreams, that nothing is going to take from them. And I'm not talking about, like, being, like, cold-hearted and not processing your emotions or, burning through it all. I'm talking about really living the life that you deserve, and maybe taking out the time to do what you need to do to get through something, but also staying the course and keeping your focus. So, my jump to 4-star was, it was one of the most rewarding times in my life, because I could really truly look at that journey and say, sorry, journey, every time I say that word, I think of you. So I could really look at that journey, and I was proud of the person that I had decided to be, the person that I had become. And I decided that I was going to take this time in my life where I was feeling really brokenhearted, and that some of my dreams were falling apart, that I was going to open my heart more to life and to better things happening that I could possibly imagine. So that was one of the biggest things in my business that I learned, that in my commitment that I huge for me. And it really developed my character in this business, and it really made me a better leader. So really it's challenge or opportunity, and that's really the perception. Can we take it's a change in perception. So when something happens to us, when challenges come, do we change our perception and make it an opportunity? And how do we see it? So I like to say that there are about 3 different types of barriers that come up for us in our business and in our life in general. And the first one is mental. So it's what kind of negative self-talk do we have? What fears come up, and how do we deal with those internally? How do we deal with those? So I just wanted to talk about a couple of my tools as I go along. So this book, and it's like, you can see, it's like a Bible. It's Letting Go. And probably I know you girls have coached with Jeffrey Combs too, but he recommended it to me about 3 years ago. And I love it. But whatever, doesn't have to be letting go, but it's a great book. And it really does teach you how to deal with that inner, the inner stuff that we need to work on to get through things. The other one is physical barriers. So unexpected circumstances come up. So say like as an example, you're planning an event, and like I remember this one time with our team. I'll just give an example. We were planning a Super Saturday for our team, and my brother-in-law went to the venue early to check everything, and the place wasn't booked. It was actually booked for another event, and it was like, what? So right there, we could have easily just canceled the whole thing. But I was staying at my sister's at the time, and my brother-in-law comes home and he's like, it's what are we going to do? And so instead of canceling it, we started cleaning the house. We started calling everyone. And before we knew it, we had like 50 people like squished into the living room. And so things will happen, and we can easily give up, or we can be focused on the solution and committed to the solution. The next one is life obstacles. So, like there's a death in the family, your kids get sick, whatever it might be, or, you've planned a day off at your job, and now they're not going to give it to you. So like, how do we focus on seeing the solutions? And I always say, it's a quote that I came up with, but I love it. And it's like, when we're focused on the solution in life, there is no problem. There is no problem, because there's a solution behind every problem that we think is there. And I find this to be such a fun way to live life, that, okay, looks like there's a problem, but you know what? There's a fun solution on the other side. And I always think it's so cool to see how life will unravel to show you that. And, you hear lots of times people say, when you're ready, the doors will open in life. And I don't agree. I think the doors are always open, and life is waiting for you to walk through them. It's just the way we choose to see things. And, we see there's always like someone who never wants to see the solution. You can always see them. They have like drama like written on their face. But somebody who wants to see the solutions, they have flow in their life and ease and grace, and it's a totally different way of living. So those are the 3 barriers. And for me, I have different strategies that I use in my daily life that help me to grow, and they're practical strategies for overcoming these barriers and some of these obstacles. So the first thing every day, and probably most of you on the call have heard this, but like having a morning ritual or a way that you start your day is really important. And so for me, and it doesn't matter what it is for you, whatever your juice that gives you juice. It's like, it can be going to the gym, it can be going for a walk, it can be reading a book, it doesn't matter. But for me, it's listening. And I do that through yoga or meditation or whatever, for me, it's something quiet. And it's all my time. So I get up about an hour before my kid. Even if it's 15 minutes, if he wakes up early, it's my time. And for me, it's about listening and checking into myself and seeing where I'm at. So like sometimes I wake up and I'm realizing that I'm just have a super busy mind and I'm scattered. And if I can check into that and just work with where I'm at, it gives me the space to cultivate the kind of day that I want to have, the kind of morning that I want to have. Like today I woke up and I was doing my meditation in the morning and I was like, oh, I'm so calm. What a nice way to start the day. But not every day is like that. Sometimes my mind's crazy. So when we start to listen to ourselves and we start to listen to our own internal cues, that's when we can really cultivate the skill to listen to other people and to really be present in our lives, in our daily lives, in our conversations with people, as well as ourselves and what we need. And if we start with what we need, we can give so much more to the people around us. So listening, and then commit. I talked about this, but decide to rise, commit to done. Really just whatever it is you're just going to decide to do in your life. And, instead of like wondering and always thinking like, oh, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? If you really commit, you're going to free up so much energy. So one of my greatest teachers, he said to me one day, he said, Trisha, there is so much freedom in commitment. And it really changed my outlook on life. In relationships, I was like, God, when there's not like, when you're not always looking for an answer or looking for something else, when you can just go within and decide like, what do I need to do differently? Who do I need to show up? Who do I need to be to make this happen? Instead of looking for like outside things to make things better, then you can really, really like find success in your life. That's where you're going to find success in your relationships and your businesses is through commitment. So the other thing is physical and emotional reminders. So I'm a sticky note person. I have them everywhere. I even stick one on the inside of my wallet. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of annoying because I'm also really into like my house looking nice, but my office has sticky notes everywhere. I have glass boards here. My husband has a really ugly whiteboard that I hate, but whatever. Yes, Rebecca. So I have constant reminders beside my bed. In the morning, I have my little book where I look at like my ideal life, whatever it is. But I like to have reminders. And for me, I don't know. Some of you might have done this. Some of you, I'm not sure, but I did a course by Simon Sinek about 3 or 4 years ago. It's just called Why University. And so it really gets you clear on your why. And so I have that, and I wrote my why out. It's like pretty generic, but it's all about, my why is all about growth and helping other people grow financially and physically, whatever it is I'm doing. So whether it's my garden project or Isagenix, I love the word growth. So knowing your why and making sure that your why is really about what fills you up, not what it gives other people. Because usually you have to look at it like what you're giving other people should fill you up. So like when other people are growing around me and I know that I was in that creative process, even if food's growing around me and I planted that seed, I get super excited. That juices me up. So knowing what your why is. And then know that your why evolves. So don't let your why ever get dull and boring. So for me, originally, my why was just to have like more time freedom and to be able to have a family and be able to have that time freedom with my family and to have choice so that, I have a lifestyle and I love my lifestyle. So I love to travel. I like to buy nice things. I like my house to look nice. And those are things that are important to me. They might sound materialistic, but I work from home, so I love my home to be nice. So I don't want to compromise what I love to do because I'm having children. I also want my children to have an awesome life. So for me, I knew that I wanted to be able to grow a family and still have lifestyle. That was really important. That was part of my why. And then as Isagenix I love Isagenix. Like it's really given me the life that I love and it's continuing to grow. But then my why became about helping other people. And then when I became a mom, I was like, oh my God, I want other aspiring moms to be able to do this. And I want people that are like, I am working with a girl right now who's just looking at the business, and she has to go back to work in a month and her baby's 3 months old and she's already crying about it. So this morning we started, she sent me a text and she's like, I'm really serious about this. Like, I want to do what you do. Because my baby's 16 months now and I'm so blessed that the first year of his life, I was so present. I really believe that your children need you that first year. And I'm from Canada originally, where you get a year off. And here in the US, it breaks my heart because I see all these like people going to work and they're pumping and like, it's just so stressful. So that's really my why now. And like I said, it has changed throughout my journey. I talked a little bit about committing to the solution in life, and life, and also like that life will get you down and to expect that, but how is it that you overcome those obstacles? And lastly, it's your DMO, your daily method of operation. Super important. When we can stay consistent at this level, then it makes it a lot easier. So, I don't put 8 hours a day into my business because that's not where I am right now in my life. But when you can do daily things consistently, it can help you to stay organized. So our team does 15 minutes of focus. We have a worksheet that's like this. So that's something you can do every morning. I think Isagenix has one, like a template as well. Another one that helps me, it's a worksheet that was in the 90-day game plan, and it's just like a daily checklist of things to do. I also created my own checklist, so that's just things that I like to do on a daily basis to stay organized. But so whatever it is for you, what is your daily method of operation to? What are you committed to daily? So, like we can go on Facebook and think we're going to do something, but then we get like totally distracted and we're like all of a sudden find ourselves like 4 pages later on like your friends of a friend like got married last weekend. Like, you want to stay focused. So I really like, okay, I like power hours. So organizing my power hours, 20 minutes of follow-up, 15 minutes of focus. So I know what I'm doing next. 20 minutes of reaching out to 4 new people, that sort of thing really helps me. And Lisa DeMaio has a training on this, and Isagenix, but getting organized. And she did a talk at a New Year's kickoff a couple of years ago, and it always stuck with me. Like, she's like, I always make sure my gas is filled up, like make sure I have a full tank of gas. For me, like I have my 50 minutes of focus and I print like 40 sheets at a time so that I can stay focused and I have them. And I have my Isagenix binder, and it has dividers, and it's all like, okay, who are my members? What's my goal setting? So I have different sections. And right now I'm about to start Eric Worre's 20 and 30, how to recruit 20 people in 30 days course. So that my binder is filled with that. And I just got organized to start that. So just whatever it is that you're doing currently, wherever it is in your business, make sure that you have your daily method of operation really clear. And then know what systems you're using. So I've used a lot of Eric Worre. So his GoPro system is one that I've liked. And what I find in my team is, everybody probably finds this, but we go to work to complicate things, as Lynn Hagedorn would say. So some people will be like, oh, what do I do next? And I'm like, well, it's the same time as last time. Like, same thing. Step 5, ask a question, go back to chapter 5 in the GoPro book and from Eric Worre. And, if I would do, like, that's the magic formula. And if you do the Eric Worre system is, if I sent you a link, would you look at it today, and let them answer. So whatever system it is, like, know that. I also in the past have done Jeffrey Combs' work. So I really like one of his audios called The Psychology of Asking. So it's like knowing what kind of questions to ask and when. And this goes back to listening. I said, every day I start my day by listening, and that really helps me cultivate the ability to listen to other people. If I can be present with myself, then I'm present with others. Qualify your time. This is the biggest lesson that I've ever learned, is qualifying my time. I remember talking to my coach one time, and he said to me, okay, what do you have in your pipeline? And I started telling him about a few people, and I was telling him about this massage therapist. And he's like, so on a scale of like 1 to 10, like, what would you rate this person as a prospect? And I'm like, I don't know, like a 4. And he's like, well, why the F are you even talking to him? I'm like, oh, I don't have to chase people. It was like this light bulb moment. So qualify. One of the biggest things I look when I'm qualifying for people, it's stability. Is this person stable in their life? Do they have the means to find, like, to stay the course of the path? Or are they somebody who has drama written all over their face? As I see chaotic people, I run the other way. I'm like, I'm not taking you under my belt and trying to try to help you contain your life. Like, I don't even want to be around that. I have a busy life. My life is full. I have a family. I have things that I love to do. I have a project. Like, I'm not here to help other people figure it out. But I am here to help people guide their dreams. And I want people, when I look at who I'm looking for in my business, I'm looking for people that are more like me, or people that I really look at some of their qualities and think, I want more of that. Like, they help me to grow. So what kind of qualities? Know your 10 qualities when you're qualifying people. Know the qualities that you're looking for in someone, in your next builder or your next teammate. And then, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, this is back to the psychology of asking, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about building your business? How serious are you about taking control of your health? These are really, that's a system of questions is really important. And then support systems. So the tools, the people that you have in your life, know what they are, know who they are, know what tools you're using, know who you're using to help you. Like I said, when I went through that really hard time in my life, I had people around me who helped me rise, who said, we are going to do this. And you know what? When I look back at that time, it was probably it seems so horrible, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me in so many ways. And it wasn't a great relationship. It was holding me back. There's a reason I went 3-star and then 4-star and then 5-star after we split, because it was not meant for me and it was holding me back. And so really just knowing that, really, if you don't have the right people in your life, then you got to go to work on getting those good people in your life. And sometimes it can be pretty painful. Sometimes it can be like leaving a marriage. Sometimes it can be, not spending so much time with someone who's been your best friend your whole life. Whatever happens, whatever needs to happen for you to rise, you deserve that. And I'm not saying that it's ever somebody else who's causing you your problems. You got to go to work on yourself. You've got to take 100% responsibility of how you show up in life and in your relationships. But sometimes the person we're growing into and the person that we're becoming and we're evolving to doesn't involve the past anymore. So that is like a super important. If we're going to have stability in our life, we've got to let go of the drama. And sometimes, we were a part of that drama and now we've grown out of it. So knowing when to move on is really important, and making sure that we have support is really important. So, so just to recap, most important things that, like I've said, I've learned to listen. And from that, I have found stability in my life and the skill to overcome obstacles. And I'm not saying sometimes life doesn't get me down or I don't get stuck, even after, having my baby and coming out of that first year of really like being present with him, I was like, God, like, where am I going to start? Like, how do I get back into all of this? And, what's my message now? And I've changed so much. So, how do I want to help people now? Because I feel different. But I was really like, I took time. I took time to listen to what that meant for me and how I want to do this differently now. And I'm getting really clear, and I'm getting really excited about the kind of people that are coming into my life. So really just take out the time for that and find the place of excitement that overcomes contentment. Because lots of times we can become really content. And I know even in my business, you know, I'm making a 6-figure income. Life's good, and I'm like enjoying the things that I love to do. And for a while I actually got content, but at a place where I wasn't excited anymore. So coming out of that is how, like, I have to really look at like what excites me and what's really important for me to do to get to my next goal. Cause I have those goals and I don't want to ignore them. And it's not really about the goal that I get to, it's about the person I become along the way. And so who is it that you want to become? Really ask yourself that. Who do I want to become on the way to my goal? How do I want to show up? You know, how do I want to feel when I'm helping others get to this? Because for me right now, my biggest excitement would be to see families really live a life of freedom. And that's become even more clear to me since I've moved to the US and seen that, you know, like I said, I feel like it's a little bit more of a struggle for families here to really be a unit than coming from a country where it's really more harmonized. Like you can have a year off and be with your children. So that's what, and this, I want to end with just one quote that I really love. And I heard it a couple of years ago, and I've shared it with my team, and I just love it. So hopefully you get something from it. So here it is. As surely as mountains are to be climbed and oceans sailed, your dreams are meant to come true. This is why you are here, to live the life of your dreams, not to be tested, challenged, and tried, but to conquer, champion, and rule. Keep going, forge ahead, press on. And the day must dawn when your thirst shall be quenched and you exalted. Never settle for less. Don't ever think it's too late. And never, ever, ever compromise a dream. So thank you guys.
Oh my gosh. Love it. You guys, Trisha, you just crushed it. There's so many nuggets in that. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
we've got some amazing women on the line right now. And I just want to, by show of hands, we've got millionaire earners. We've got multiple 6-figure earners. We've got some of the top leaders in Isagenix on this call. Just type I in the chat if you guys have ever experienced challenges. For all of the women that are tuning into this or that will watch the recording that are just starting their businesses, you know, I've been in Isagenix a decade, and I have definitely had my ups and downs, and I have, you know, hit rock bottom with my business multiple times. And I love what you said, Trisha. If you just keep going, if you focus on the solution, look at the feed, everybody, you guys. So if you're just starting your entrepreneurial journey, like, know that it's not a destination. It's never a destination. And I love what you said about looking for the excitement in the new goal. And one of my mottos is always be grateful, but never be satisfied. Right. Always be grateful for what we have, but never be satisfied. And we are so blessed to be in a culture that's constantly pushing us to the next level, because a lot of us could just stop and be like, oh, we're good. You know, we're good. But it's about the next person. Who are we going to lift up? So there were so many nuggets in there, your daily method of operations, your habits. You guys, success leaves clues. So we repeat this stuff over and over on these phone calls, but it's so nice to hear new women coming in, sharing really the same strategies. We all do it in a little bit different ways, but principles are the same. The strategies might change a little bit, but the principles are solid. So Trisha, you crushed it. Thank you so much for your time, for sharing your knowledge. We love you.
I love being on here.
Awesome. So guys, just to wrap up, we're going to kind of go over our Dump the Junk challenge.